When you think of the word wellness, what comes to mind? Smoothie bowls, yoga at sunrise, calming candles, a glowing influencer sipping matcha on a white sand beach. The wellness industry has carefully crafted this aesthetic, a lifestyle that's soft, clean, peaceful, and expensive. It promises more than just health. It promises control, purpose, even perfection. But here's the thing. Behind the Instagram filters and mindfulness mantras, there's a much darker story unfolding, one that's not being talked about nearly enough. It starts with good intentions. Most people turn to wellness when they want to feel better. They're tired, stressed, maybe sick, or just overwhelmed by the chaos of daily life. They're looking for answers. And the industry is more than happy to provide them, usually with a price tag. Whether it's supplements, retreats, coaching, detox teas, biohacking tools, or spiritual healers, the wellness world has created a solution for every kind of discomfort. But what it often fails to mention is that these solutions are rarely backed by science, sometimes dangerously misleading, and almost always rooted in marketing, not medicine. In fact, that's one of the core problems. The wellness industry operates in this strange in-between space where it borrows the language of healthcare, but skips the regulation. Words like clean, natural, and toxic get thrown around constantly, but there's no legal definition for any of them. It's all branding. Something can be labeled natural and still be harmful. Something can be toxin-free and still do absolutely nothing. But if it sounds good, and if the packaging is pretty enough, it'll sell. And sell it does. The global wellness market is worth over $4.5 trillion. That's more than the pharmaceutical industry in many countries. It's a booming empire, and like any empire, it thrives by keeping people hooked. It encourages us to always feel like we're not quite enough, not healthy enough, not clean enough, not balanced enough. And what's the fix? Another product, another program, another promise. The thing is, it's not just about money. The deeper you go into the wellness rabbit hole, the more you start to see something more troubling. How easily it can become a gateway. For some, it's harmless, just a yoga mat and a meditation app. But for others, it becomes a path toward obsession, pseudoscience, and sometimes even conspiracy. The same algorithm that recommends a video on breathwork might be the one that later shows you a video claiming vaccines are poison, or that you can cure cancer with celery juice. It's a slippery slope, and most people don't even realize they're on it until they're already falling. So why is something that's supposed to be about healing turning into something that can actually harm? And how did we get here in the first place? Let's go deeper. Let's talk about the messengers, because the wellness industry doesn't just sell you products, it sells you people, influencers, gurus, celebrities, faces you trust, voices that sound soothing, people who seem to have it all figured out. And the message they're pushing is always the same. I was lost, I was tired, I was sick, but then I found this. This drink, this diet, this retreat, this mindset, and now everything's better. They're not just telling you to buy something, they're telling you it saved their life. And when you're in a vulnerable place, physically, emotionally, mentally, that kind of storytelling hits hard, it's powerful. And more often than not, it's carefully scripted, backed by brand deals, sponsorships, or even outright misinformation. The problem is, many of these so-called wellness experts have no qualifications whatsoever. They're not doctors, they're not researchers. Some haven't even taken a basic nutrition course, but they know how to market themselves, they know how to build trust with an audience, and they know how to sell. And when wellness becomes an identity rather than a practice, people start to follow blindly. After all, if your favorite influencer claims this mushroom powder cured their anxiety, who needs a therapist? If a celebrity swears by intermittent fasting and infrared saunas, maybe you start skipping meals or spending money you don't have on luxury gadgets, just to feel like you're keeping up. And it's not just influencers doing the damage. Even doctors and health professionals have been caught jumping on the wellness bandwagon, partnering with brands and endorsing products that have little to no scientific backing. Why? Because wellness sells. It's easier to market hope in a bottle than to encourage people to face long, slow, complicated paths to real health. It's easier to promise a quick fix than to admit that healing takes time and isn't always pretty. But the darkest part? The way this industry preys on fear, it uses fear of disease, of aging, of weight gain, of chemicals, of toxins, even of death, to keep you coming back. It positions itself as the alternative to a broken healthcare system, saying, don't trust big pharma, don't trust doctors, don't trust science, trust us. And when you're scared, desperate, or sick, that message can be incredibly seductive. People stop taking prescribed medication because they were told it's unnatural. They delay real treatment because they believe essential oils or juice cleanses will be enough. They spend thousands chasing the promise of purity, while their actual health, mental, physical, emotional, starts to deteriorate. And the most frustrating part is, there is value in wellness. Mindfulness can help reduce stress. Eating well and moving your body can absolutely improve your life. But when these practices are turned into a profit machine, stripped of nuance, exaggerated and sold through fear, they become something else entirely. So how do you know where the line is? When does wellness cross over from helpful to harmful? And what should you be watching out for? Let's break it down, because things are about to get even murkier. Let's talk about one of the biggest scams in the wellness world, the so-called detox movement. This idea of cleansing your body from the toxins you've accumulated over time. But here's the truth, your body is not a garbage dump. You don't need to drink a green juice or buy a $100 detox tea to get rid of toxins. Your liver, kidneys, and digestive system are already working overtime to process and eliminate anything harmful you consume. That's their job. You don't need a fancy cleanse or a 10-day juice fast to make it happen. And yet, detox products make billions of dollars every year by preying on our insecurities. They create this idea that we're somehow polluted, that we've accumulated toxins from our food, the air, or stress. It's a convenient narrative, because if you can convince someone they're polluted, you can sell them a solution, a quick fix, a product that promises instant purification and immediate results. But here's the kicker, there's no scientific evidence to back up these detox claims. While some people may feel lighter or more energetic after a cleanse, it's often because they're cutting out sugar, processed foods, or caffeine temporarily. But that's not detoxing. That's just improving your diet for a short period. The whole detox industry is built on an unfounded fear of our bodies being overwhelmed by toxins, when in reality, our bodies are designed to handle the day-to-day pollutants without extra help. And let's not even get started on clean eating. The wellness industry has pushed this concept to the point of obsession. But somewhere along the way, the idea of nourishing our bodies turned into an unhealthy fixation with purity and cleanliness. The message is clear. If you eat the wrong foods, if you stray from the strict, curated lists of approved foods, you're dirty, you're toxic. The idea of eating clean quickly becomes an all-or-nothing mentality. If you slip up, even once, you're failing. What's worse is that clean eating has morphed into a form of body policing. If you can't afford the organic, gluten-free, sugar-free, pesticide-free, hormone-free foods, you're made to feel like you're not trying hard enough to take care of yourself. This elitist approach excludes many people, especially those in lower-income communities who simply can't access or afford the so-called clean options. But it's more than just financial, it's a moral judgment. It suggests that if you don't make wellness your full-time job, you're not doing it right, that you're somehow failing your body, your mind, or your spirit. The wellness world has hijacked this idea of purity and turned it into an obsession. The constant need to optimize your body, your sleep, your food, your breath, it's exhausting. It's as if you're never allowed to just be. And the irony is, by chasing this idea of perfection, you're actually doing more harm than good. Stressing over whether your food is clean enough or if you've done enough yoga today isn't actually improving your health. It's making you more anxious, more obsessed, and less at peace. So, when does wellness cross the line from helping you to harming you? It's when it becomes less about balance and more about control. When it pushes you to feel inadequate because you're not achieving some wellness ideal. When it turns into a money-making machine that preys on your insecurities and your desire for instant gratification. And here's the hardest part. It doesn't always look like harm at first. These products, diets, and transformational programs seem harmless. They promise self-care, they promise healing, they promise improvement. But the reality is, they can make you feel worse. They set up an unrealistic expectation of what it means to be healthy and whole. And in doing so, they create a system where wellness becomes just another thing to stress about. So what's the alternative? Can we truly live a healthy life without falling into these traps? Let's explore that in the next part. Now that we've peeled back the layers on how the wellness industry capitalizes on fear, insecurity, and unrealistic standards, let's talk about how we can avoid falling into these traps. How do we find genuine health, true balance, without getting swept up in the chaos of unproven fads and money-grabbing schemes? The answer isn't as complicated as the wellness industry wants you to think. First off, we need to reframe the way we think about health. True wellness is about balance, not perfection. It's about taking care of your body and mind in ways that feel good for you, not in ways that Instagram influencers or wellness brands tell you are the right way. It's about listening to your body, not a $200 supplement or a wellness trend that's here today, gone tomorrow. The wellness industry thrives when we don't trust ourselves, when we feel like we need someone else to tell us what's best for our health. But real health isn't about following someone else's list of rules or buying into the latest trend. It's about understanding your body's individual needs. It's about doing what works for you, not for everyone else. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be open to learning and experimenting with different wellness practices. Yoga, meditation, exercise, eating whole foods, those things can absolutely be beneficial. But the key is moderation and self-awareness. You don't need to do a juice cleanse to feel better. You don't need to subscribe to an exclusive, expensive wellness retreat to reconnect with yourself. The idea is to stop looking for a quick fix and to start seeing health as a long-term, everyday commitment to self-care. It's not glamorous, it's not always Instagram-worthy, but it's real. Another important step is learning how to spot red flags in wellness marketing. When a product or program makes bold, unverified claims like, "This will cure your anxiety," or "This will detox your body in 7 days," that's a huge warning sign. Be skeptical. Real health solutions take time. They involve a holistic approach, and they rarely come in a pill or a 10-step program. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. One of the biggest tricks the wellness industry plays on us is making us believe that we have to be constantly improving, that there's always something more we could be doing to be healthier, happier, or more productive. But in reality, true wellness often means resting. It means taking time to simply be, without constantly striving or searching for something better. It means enjoying your life as it is, instead of always chasing after an idealized version of health that doesn't even exist. So how do we protect ourselves from the dark side of the wellness industry? First, we need to remember that health isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. What works for someone else might not work for you. Take the time to learn about your own body, to ask questions, to do your own research, and most importantly, to listen to yourself. And if you find something that truly benefits you, something that makes you feel better, go for it. But remember, wellness doesn't have to come with a hefty price tag, a restrictive diet, or a bunch of fancy products. Sometimes, the best thing you can do for your health is take a break, laugh with your friends, eat nourishing food, and get enough sleep. True wellness isn't about being perfect. It's about being healthy, happy, and whole. And no wellness brand, influencer, or trend can sell you that. That's something you already have inside you.